Hello, and welcome back. If you saw the last episode, I don't know what happened. There was a lot of interesting decisions that were made, and I'm not really sure how to begin on most of them. But look at the stats here. Justice, I actually haven't seen if anything went up here. I think Team Player lost a bit of percentage. I think that was at 78 at one point, or 80. Control is going up. Loved is actually going up too, which is kind of cool. Popular Underdog, that hasn't done anything. Health and Power went back up. And my relationships are pretty much the same. I still don't know who the mystery one is, and the 15%, I think that's standard still. I'm not sure. I haven't been paying attention to it. Anyways, we're now at Chapter 4. This is Shock Therapy. Your feet dangled off the end of the examination table, tapping through the boredom. You've been sitting in this room for 10 minutes, waiting for your test results. You usually make it a point to visit the horologist as infrequently as possible, but this trip was mandated by the Hero Project to clear you for continued participation in the show. Which is totally worth it, since the Hero Project has become the biggest smash hit television has seen in years. A turn of events that has begun to change your feeling towards reality 3V. The first episode of the Hero Project premiered a couple months ago to unprecedented ratings. It was estimated that the show brought in some 70 million viewers across all platforms. Ratings estimates inflated after a new system, one that actually accounts for more than just archaic live TV watching, was developed, but even still, a single 3V show hasn't unified viewers like this in a very long time. As such, the Hero Project becomes a bona fide cultural phenomenon and has helped lower the overall levels of anti-powered sentiment in this country. After you finish filming the semifinals, you went into the holding pattern, a rather excruciating one at that. You were told it would be 2 months before the pre-taped episode started airing, which would feature the initial casting interviews throughout the 3 rounds of the semifinals. Even though that process only took 1 day of filming, the show has stretched the footage into 2 full months of programming. So, you've been cooling your heels for 4 months, laying as low as possible. Contractually, you're obligated not to do anything that will jeopardize your chance of entering the final selection. More importantly, you've been express forbidden from telling another living soul that you even made it to the final selection, unless you want to be sued for millions of dollars for breach of contract. Knowing all that, what have you been up to? Ooh. Attending training sessions with the Millennial Group, spending time with Black Magic, or practicing the use of my infinite powers. Last time I helped rebuild the fringes. I want to spend some time with Black Magic this time around. Let's see if that went up. By 1%. Woo! Now that she is back from the Millennial Group's abroad mission, you've gone public as a couple, which Black Magic actually insisted upon after you both entered the Hero Project. You've been spending as much time with her as possible, though to be honest, you haven't made many public appearances. You've been spending most of your time locked in Black Magic's room at the Millennial Tower. In fact, things got so intense one night, there were several panicked 911 phone calls reporting a powered battle inside the tower. You and Black Magic were letting off a little too much residual light energy. Aside from that, you and Black Magic have both agreed not to discuss the Hero Project so that you can get it off your mind. So far, it's been working. God damn it. That was good. That was good. You know what that means, right? That means we put the fire back on. God damn. Alright. Of course, you've also watched and rewatched all 7 episodes. But you haven't actually been featured in a single one. Despite all the interview and cameras capturing your reactions, not a shred of footage about you has aired. Even the semi-final episodes chronicling round 1 and 2 haven't featured you, save for the occasional glimpse in the background. Unfortunately, you can only assume that this is the handiwork of your not-so-biggest fan, Rexford. There's one last semi-final episode airing tonight, and you really hope you make an appearance on it. Otherwise, you won't be too hopeful about advancing through the final selections. Great. So that's great. So it's going to show me getting the key, and it's just stealing. So I'm going to be made out to be the bad guy. That's fantastic. As for your competition, even though you scored a guild key, you weren't able to see the other 14 heroes who also did. And the only ones you're sure of are the heroes you saw get keys with your own eyes. Jenny is coming over tonight to watch the last semi-final episode where the Hero Project will reveal who the 15 key holders are. They're going to show me stealing it, and they're going to make me out to be the bad guy. I already know this. After tonight's semi-final episode, you are scheduled to film the last pre-taped episodes tomorrow night. The final selection, you don't know much about the final selection. You've just been told it's a fancy part where they'll reveal the secret panel of judges and announce the finalists who will move on to the live finals. You've also been told that the arena challenge was just for the semi-final. The challenges in the live finals will be devoted to fighting real-world threats. You are happy to hear this show won't just be heroes beating each other up, and that the Hero Project aims to achieve some real good. The Horologist finally enters, and you've instinctively stiffened. Something about Horologists have always creeped you out. It's probably because they have to wear specially made protective suits that help them treat a variety of powered types. With the sterilized latex and plastic topped off with glass face masks, always made them seem like some kind of terrifying childhood monsters to you. Thanks for waiting, Hoppadivi, the Horologist says, taking a seat across from you and pulling up your files on her ME chip. We've done a full workup on your powers, Infinity included. You nod, knowing that this Horologist is one of those few who specialize in analyzing Infinity powers. Powered individuals who with Infinity class powers have been around for generations, but scientists didn't differentiate these power levels into a separate class until recently. There's still a lot Horologists don't understand about Infinity powers. They haven't quite worked out how these powers leap happens to certain individuals, or why these powers tend to interface oddly with technology during the early stages of development. Despite all this, you're still hoping that the Horologist has some new things to tell you. Here's what we found. The Horologist starts. Your power to generate and manipulate energy didn't come out of thin air. All the while, it was just the tip of the iceberg. As it turns out, you are capable of toying with atoms and cause the tiniest beginnings of nuclear fission. Ooh, a reaction that even on the most minuscule scale generates through energy to wield in ways that you are used to. If you continue to hone your atom powers, the magnitude of your fission generation will increase exponentially, allowing you to wield massive amounts of energy. In fact, it may even be within the realm of possibility that you can one day achieve full fission, or dare if I even say fusion. However, the radioactive fallout of such an event would be deadly. The Horologist pauses, looking almost giddy. The idea that a single individual could create a nuclear fusion event is unprecedented. Such a talent could be the most tremendous good or obviously tremendous destruction. You have no idea what to say after all, and there's to say when someone tells you that you're essentially a walking nuclear bomb. Yeah. Additionally, you've always had the power to fly, but this was actually a limited use of your ability to control gravity. The power compared to your atomics is less costly and significantly less dangerous, of course. You have to be careful since you are disrupting the laws of physics after all. With enough training, you should be able to disrupt your gravity fields of larger and larger objects, making them heavier or weightless at your discretion. The magnitude of your potential disruption is limitless. If you hone these powers theoretically, you can move something the size of a moon someday. All you can think is, am I ready for that kind of responsibility? What will people think of me when they find out? But it's important you know that there are risks. Infinity class powers take an extremely long time to harness. It will require years of proper training to fully master these powers. Otherwise, you could cause untold harm to yourself and others. There's just so much we don't know yet, so in the initial transition time, this is crucial to take things easy. It is also vitally important you understand that humans have never wielded this much power before. And you know what they say about absolute power, it corrupts absolutely. There are dozens of examples of these infinite powers driving people insane. Yeah. Your mind reels if you keep honing your abilities. Some days you'll have the power to shatter worlds, planets, and nuclear holocausts would become your playthings. Part of this thrills you, but it terrifies you. What happens to a gifted person with that much power? Taking all of this into account, the horologist finishes, I have to recommend that you not take part in the Hero Project at this time. Excuse me? You blurt out. Given this early stage in your infinite development and the impending stress of competition like this, plus the public exposure given current sentiment towards infinite powers, I think it would be generally unsafe for you to enter. You stare at the horologist, not even sure where to begin processing this news. And what if I only use my original powers? Unfortunately, that's going to become harder and harder the more your infinite powers develop. So you're blocking me from entering the final selection, you ask. The horologist pauses, taking a deep breath. Unfortunately, I don't have that ability. There isn't enough legislation regarding infinite class powers stating otherwise, at least not yet. Though you can bet that will change if Mayor Victon wins the election. The horologist gets a wistful look for a moment at this prospect, which admittedly is becoming more of a real possibility with every passing month. Mayor Victon spent the summer on the campaign trail as the constitutive presumptive nominee until he was announced as the official presidential candidate at the Constitutive Convention. Now he's campaigning twice as hard, preparing for the upcoming national debates. Additionally, Victon has become less and less concerned with hiding the connection his campaign shares to the Meek movement, which has risen to become its most vocal supporter. All of this makes you very wary, not only as a public infinite figure, but as someone who has been threatened pretty directly by Victon. You know that someday you'll have to find a way to deal with him, but you also know there's not much to be done in your current position. Yet. Anyway, the horologist says, pulling you back to reality, I can only recommend to you that you not move forward with the Hero Project. However, the producers have already decided that you have cleared the necessary tests in a manner that is satisfactory to the network. So what are you saying, you ask? Why would the producers let you onto the show if you pose such a risk? Although that's exactly what they're banking on. I suppose I'm saying that no matter what my advice is, the choice about whether to risk going on with the Hero Project is entirely up to you. Well, Slugger, it appears you have an important decision to make about the involvement with the Hero Project, assuming you even make it through the final selection in the first place. And either way, you have a lot of thinking about regarding your infinite powers. So they're going to develop either way. So that's fine and dandy. Okay. Whatever you decide, I've already sent your Emmy chip a new variable reading to record the use of your infinite class powers. It will track how well you're controlling your new power, or conversely, how much you've been unleashing. You nod at the horologist and pull up the show stat screen on your Emmy chip. It looks like you've already been leaning towards the control side when using your powers. You've got a lot to think about, the horologist says, but please do not hesitate to call. In fact, I'd love it if you kept in touch no matter what you decide to do with the Hero Project. You don't say anything, stand to leave, because you're too shell-shocked to process anything right now, let alone make a decision as important as this one. Later that day, you hand Grandma an envelope which contains a freshly written letter to your parents. Even though they can't write back, you like the idea that they still know about your life. Writing the letter has become like keeping a journal, a way to get your thoughts out and process them, and they also have quite a bit of sort through at the moment. I'll scan this into the holomail straight away, Grandma says, handing the envelope to Guadalupe, who uses her leafy vine to place the letter in Grandma's outgoing scanner pile. It joins a series of petitions Grandma has been sending out. Her latest cause is trying to change the Devoid's policies to allow its inmates to write return letters to their families. Grandma keeps asking you to get involved. Why not just help her? Now, how about the rent money, Habba-DB, Grandma says, holding out her hand with a smile. How do I know you won't just spend it all on fertilizer, you say, authorizing Emmy Chip to make a $1,500 transfer to Grandma's account. Emmy Chip appears before you, presenting your remaining bank balance, $8,700. Did that go up? How did that get so high? How did that get so high? Which has slowly chipped away, having to pay rent the past few months. How did that get so high? At this rate, you're going to drain your bank account pretty... What? Even with the Hero unemployment checks you've been collecting, this is yet another reason you need to make it into the live finals on the Hero project. I have quite a bit of money, but okay. All finalists will receive a lump sum from their time out on the show in the live rounds, scaled based on how much you make into the competition, though you don't even want to think about the kind of money you'll be making if you actually win a spot, the American Protectorate. Oh, fudgeberries, Grandma says, waving her hand in front of you. How do I make this infernal thing disappear? Grandma hasn't quite yet adjusted to life with an Emmy Chip. Every time Emmy Chip Cynthia appears holographically with an update for Grandma, she tries to swat her away. You're about to tease Grandma, but the front doorbell rings. Don't worry, Gran, you shout, trying to run down the aisle. You'll get used to Cynthia soon enough. My, you're looking particularly slutish today, Jenny says, brushing by you as she walks inside, the brandishing a bottle of champagne. Here's to our big night, right? After the semifinal, Jenny came clean to you about entering the Hero Project as a secret hero named Null. You and Null have explicitly confirmed that you both made the final selection, but you have been found ways to indirectly let one another know that you did, especially since you've helped make sure Jenny secured her key, a move that did not go unnoticed or unthanked by her. Who knows, maybe they'll even show your face for a second tonight. Jenny chuckles, thrusting the bottle into your arms. Unlike you, Jenny has been getting tons of airtime. Well, not Jenny, but rather her secret hero identity, Null. No one but you and Grandma know that it's Jenny underneath the mask, and a few others, but that's a long story. Fans have really taken to the shadowy Null, who comes without any origin story or previous exposure. That mystery paired with her badass costume made Null an instant hit. They're just saving the best for last. Well, you wouldn't be getting any time if you showed your real face. I need to remind you that you wouldn't have a key if it wasn't for me. Well, you're the expert on that after all, Jenny snarks. Now I want to say hello to Grandma Sashimi, but we can talk in private afterwards. Absolutely, you answered. To the Dunslayer we go. Darling, Jenny says as she walks away. Apologies, but I'm not terribly eager to go back into any closet. Oh, that's right, because she's lizard. The jokes! 15 minutes later. Sashimi, the Hero Project is rotten at its core. What are you going to do about it? Jenny reads over this Emmy message for the 100th time, her eyes nearly crossed. You were too preoccupied during the semifinals to think about what this cryptic Emmy message could mean, so the first day you showed it to Jenny along with ask her what the slugger she was doing in the Hero Project as a hero contestant. Jenny explains to you that the Department for the Regulation of Power Resources wants a horse in the American Protectorate race, but the rules clearly stated that no official branch of the U.S. government could enroll agents publicly. So the DRPR vetted several secret agents to enter as top secret mole. Obviously, Jenny was one of them, since PFPP agents are also highly trained operatives. You know, Jenny has also been so obsessed with powered heroes as you, but she never once expressed interest in becoming one herself. As it turns out, even though Jenny has devoted her life to protecting the families of powered heroes, she's also wondered what it might be to be like to be one herself. For years, Jenny harbored a secret question: what kind of hero would she be? And that's why Jenny created Null, A faceless, storyless, and terrifyingly pure force of upholding justice. Apparently it all started with some basic costume sketches, which then opened the door to some additional martial arts and marksman training in Jenny's spare time, since Jenny never found a reason to actually put Noel to use until the DRPR came knocking and Jenny saw her chance to become a hero. And that's how Noel, the most mysterious hero to drop into the scene in quite some time, was born. Most heroes wear their origins on their costume proudly. Almost every hero wants their story or their agenda to be known, whether they have a secret identity or not, but Noel is quite the opposite. She appeared anonymously in the competition, silently slicing her way into the final selection. The Hero Project doesn't know that Noel is really a DRPR agent. In fact, no one knows this but you and Jenny. That's actually why Jenny couldn't tell you about entering until the semifinals, because her mission is supposed to be completely classified. And she failed. Jenny's mission goes way deeper than just the DRPR representation for the first government-only sponsored national power team. The DRPR believes there is a conspiracy bubbling under the surface of the Hero Project, so they tasked Jenny with investigating any potential foul play with the competition. And when you shared your weird Emmy message with Jenny, it certainly seemed to fall in line with the DRPR's intelligence. And that's the only reason why Jenny was able to tell you the true nature of her participation in the Hero Project. Though you like to think she would have told you anyway, classified or not. Any luck figuring out where it was sent from, you ask, spinning around in your desk chair? Absolutely no idea, Jenny says. Whoever sent this to you, they did their homework. It's completely untraceable. As Jenny keeps poring over the Emmy message for some new hidden meaning, you pause. You've been deciding whether you want to get tangled up in Jenny's investigations, which could potentially distract you from winning the Hero Project. You've come to the conclusion that it's my responsibility to help Jenny with the investigation in whatever way I can. I can't sacrifice any energy on this. I need to focus on winning. The competition is more important to you, but you don't want to let Jenny down. It is... I want to help. I want to help. So you hit Jenny with your first major question. Why would this enemy message be sent to me of all heroes? Does Duper have any pull in this competition? What does the Duper think of this conspiracy? It's about... Why would this... how about that one? My handler and I have no ideas. We don't even know if you're the only hero to receive this kind of tip. But everyone at the DRPR is thrilled you made it to the final selections. They've definitely hoped at least one of us is making it to the live. One of us? Okay. Well, since you have nothing useful to tell me... Let's go, you say, turning off your Emmy chip projector. We don't want to miss the episode. Oh, you all play and no work, Jenny says, standing up. By the way, how did your appointment with the horologist go? I got to skip the whole bloody thing since I don't have any real powers. You pause. You haven't decided what you're going to do about the horologist's recommendation yet. You let alone if you want to tell anyone. I'll tell her. Why not? Jenny fidgets with her elbow skin as the process everything you've just told her. So you're going to listen to the horologist? But your silence gives Jenny all the answers she needs. I see. Jenny tries to hide her concern, but does a lousy job of it. Well, I'll be there for you, whatever you decide, and I suppose you can wait until you see if you make it through the live finals. My thoughts exactly, you say. Oh, and Jenny, please don't tell Grandma. I don't want her to worry any more than she already does. Jenny nods, though you both know that keeping secrets like this from each other hasn't gone well in the past. Not to mention, it makes for you to be a bit of a hypocrite, but luckily Jenny doesn't call you out on this. 40 minutes later. Be careful what you wish for. If you were freaked out before about not being featured, you are now doubly freaked out because you seem to have found something worse. Tonight on the last semi-final episode of the Hero Project, Dump made his abuse, and it was a big one. Whether featured heroes got 5 to 10 minutes clips devoted to explaining their stories, you pulled a full 20-minute segment. And it was far more in-depth than you could have imagined. The Hero Project found old footage of you from the Gravitas case, your mission fighting the Supply Circle alongside the Millennial Group, the Hot Debacle, and the Prodigal Death Wave video, and is all used to paint you as a highly volatile rookie. One who shows some promise, but should mostly be seen as a potential threat. The show even cut up your confessional interviews to lay over footage of you at the worst possible moments, painting a highly unflattering portrait. Even worse, the episode featured a special segment on your Infinity class status, questioning the potential danger of the power you now wield. The Hero Project also showed all of the mistakes you made in the semifinals, taking care to display any moments of indecision despite the fact that you eventually got a key, which of course they didn't show, leaving it unclear to the viewers whether you made it or not. Still loved. That's funny. And my legend went up. That's good. That is funny. The cumulative effect of this editing was to portray you as a very specific light. A light you know had a partial hand in shaping, at least. Partial hand. You've been making a strategic decision since you've entered the competition. Every time you make one of those decisions, it adds a point to your strategy type. The more you make decisions in the same strategy type, the more viewers can place you as a clear, relatable character, and the far more successful you will be on the show. It appears that so far you've played perfectly as a loyal ally, an accomplishment that has boosted your legend. You also take a second look to check your stats. It looks like your relationships are being affected by the choices you made on the Hero Project. And your hated love stat has also changed. You know that the higher the stat is, the either direction, the greater your impact on the audience. In other words, the closer to 50 you are, the less people are paying attention. Of course, your legend level is still the ultimate gauge on your general visibility, your reputation, and the success of your heroic choices. The good news, despite the unflattering edit job, you made a national debut in front of millions of viewers. Going into the final selection, you're going to have an insane amount of buzz. Hopefully that's a good thing. Also making a grand entrance, darling, Emmy Chip sounds off as you close the stats page. Sing and being seen. You can't seem to catch a bloody break, can you, Jenny? Says, almost laughing. Don't you worry yourself for a second, Grandma cuts in. People have been intent on destroying the sashimi name. It's become our lot in life to simply weather the storm and rise above. You don't know what to say to this, and since you have no time to process anything, luckily you don't have to, as the commercial break ends and the Colton Quick's face appears under the Hero Project banner. Now the time has finally come to reveal our panel of esteemed judges. First judge. Millennium Seal's most wealthiest, powered supporter, Rexford Schillers. Who would have thunk it? Of course, if it wasn't for Rexford to cone over the executive producer of the Hero Project, you need to be the judge as well. It looks like your relationship with him is going to matter even more than you thought it would. The second judge is the most heroic powered hero, Rebellion. Rebellion has been chosen to serve as the American Protectorate's future leader, so he has vested interest in which winners will make it to the founding roster. You have wondered why your idol hadn't been part of the competition so far, and now you know why. There's no one better to suit this massive heroic venture than Rebellion. I'd be very interested to see how Rebellion treats you, given your past interactions. Okay, so let's look. Rebellion's 89, Rexford's 23. It's about, I have one of the judges in my pocket, right? That's kind of what it looks like, almost 90%, and the other one I don't have at all. And the Game Breaker. The third judge is the official spokeswoman for Emmy Chip, Inc. Emmy Chip. Damn Emmy Chip. Okay. A world's foremost expert in all things tech and part-time hero herself, Emmy Chip is a perfect judge to suss out who is and what it takes to make it through the Hero Project. Formerly known as Dame Emmy Chip, the official Emmy Chip sponsor has undergone a recent rebranding strategy that dubbed her Dame Chip. You know, she's purely for corporate sponsorship and advertising, so you don't necessarily have much of a stake in impressing her. She's still unknown. Emmy. I'm just gonna call it Emmy Chip. Emmy Chip, man. Emmy Chip. Alright, move on to the selection. Now let's turn our judges to find out who's been made it through to the final selection. You watch as the three judges stand assembled, each one a titan in their own way beside you. Grandma nearly gasps with excitement And you have to admit, you're pretty anxious yourself. The 15 contestants who procured gilded keys will be moving on to the next week's final selection, Rebellion announces, his usual stern self. In addition, the judges have selected 5 wildcard contestants who, despite being eliminated in the semifinals, have shown undeniable potential. God damn it. Okay. So let's get on with the show, shall we? I could have freaking done so much better then. I could have saved, and I could have... Oh, you biscuit. Okay. As Rexford says this, the 3B screen immediately shows Jury snagging a gilded key, announcing him as the first in the top 20 moving on the final selections. Just then, your Emmy Chip judges with priority Emmy message. You try to ignore it, but the override protocols take over the Emmy Chip. Drew appears before you once again looking vacant and speaking in the monotone voice. Sashimi, focus on the infinity. This will be it. Emmy Chip Drew then suddenly shorts out, exactly the same as last time, and it sends a shiver up your spine. Habadibi, what just happened? Jenny says from her spot on the couch. You turn to her and don't have to say anything. Jenny knows. Later that night, you're finally back in your bed after a grueling evening. After you receive the Emmy message, Jenny immediately sent to deciphering and tracking it, an endeavor that required you to take a trip down to the downtown DRPR offices, and you were happy to help Jenny in any way she needed. Unfortunately, Jenny didn't have any more luck tracking the origin of this message than she did with the last one, and you barely got to pay attention to the rest of tonight's episode. Luckily, Jenny had planned a rundown on the remaining finalists with you tomorrow. Right now, you stare at the ceiling trying to calm the worries flying around in your head. Because after watching tonight's episode, you've decided there's really no way you can listen to the horologist. Of course, the horologist means well, but at the end of the day, she doesn't know you. She doesn't know what you've been through and what you're capable of. But you know you can handle this. And you know you have to enter the final selection hope to move forward in the hero project because... Let's see here. Because after the negative portrayal, I need to show America the kind hero I really am. The opportunity is just too big to pass up. Not that one. The show is making me famous. Nope. I just need to investigate this conspiracy with Eddie. Nope. I need the money. Nope. I'm just excited to be on the hero project. Nope. I need to be part of the American Protectorate. This is hard. Holy crap. I guess I'm gonna go with the first one. I'm not really sure about... None of these sound like what I would do. But if I had to give a guess, it's between this one or this one. And I don't like the portrayal they gave me. I know that I want to help Jenny. And I do want to show the people what I can do. So I might as well just go for... I don't really know. And for this reason, you're willing to risk the potential infinite power issues, whatever they might be. So moving forward, I'll be super careful to control my infinite powers, rely mostly on my old powers. I don't care about this warning at all. The more I use my infinite powers, the better I'll get at stabilizing them. I'll use my infinite powers only when I absolutely need to. Trying to feel confident in your decision, you close your eyes to drift off to sleep, but because tomorrow is going to be another very big day. I'll see you all in the next chapter, Null and Devoid.